That's a lot of trouble. Are there 5 or 6?
There are 6.
There are 6?
Should be one more game.
I think you had 6 over there. Oh, the one was over.
No, one of them was from 4 here, but
Is there Eric versus
Jin John.
who did I play? Mike.
You got yours. I don't
This
think
is
you had
Jin
mine.
John.
Jin.
I don't have that one up yet?
Nope.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, let's start with this game. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I suppose in a handicap game, there's never anything wrong with just securing yourself here. Okay. These moves may or not be forcing, but in a handicap game to play such small moves tends to play into White's hands. White forces you to take gote, jumps on a big point, and if you can't back it up, you end up taking a loss, locally speaking. From Black's perspective, through to here, he can be content. There's an aim point for White here, but from Black's standpoint, he can answer that this way. If White pushes him out, then the Black group dies naturally. So that he's not so much afraid of that at this point in time. Looking over the whole board, I suppose that this would be natural and big point. Continuing to build this area up. Controlling White's territory over here. The territorial balance in this game is fine, actually. From if White answers through there to protect the side territory, Black could just switch to a territory game and feel very comfortable here. Yes. Nice, honest move. You might get some kind of a swindle here, but in an area where White is so badly outnumbered, the expectation he's going to get a lot of profit for himself is, relatively speaking, remote. Whoa. Why are we caving in like this? Is there something to be afraid of here? What would White do that's so awful? White has actually bluffed Black into giving away a lot of value here. However, if White wants to cling to these stones, the prospect of him making these moves look better than they were is pretty significant. This is a kind of a semi-force of sorts, but yeah. Why is black giving way here? I think black can keep resisting. Is white going to cut? I don't think black's particularly been hurt, but white is committed to these stones now that he never was before. He can't dump them anymore. He can't give them up. And as a consequence, all that white was hoping to accomplish over here is going to be lost. I mean, I don't know, white can just run out or something like that, but now black is going to just run right with him. I don't think white wanted to sort of be burdened with these stones. I'm thinking here, just keep building. This is a forcing move. You don't want to get too close to it. There's not a lot of benefit for you there. But just see if black can stand the pressure. In black's eyes, there's a kind of a magnifying effect. White's stuff all looks bigger, and black stuff all looks smaller. You get out here in the center like this, and you might get black kind of seeing something huge. You might get him to invade. But even if you don't, there just isn't that much value up there on the upper side. I mean, you save those stones, what is it worth, 10 points? There's just no real benefit particularly to doing that, and you can lose a lot of the benefit that white has gotten from bluffing black out through there. A little bit late for that one. So let's see here. What happened through there is that by passing, this is basically a pass. By passing here instead of resisting, black has just given away the whole store. So black in his area of strength has now just been content to make two eyes and not die. And in black's area of strength, white has made a live group. It all basically comes back to this peep was a nice move. It was this peep was the reason I didn't like this move in the first place. But black gives up. Let me. If black follows through with a natural course, he has equally defended his problem on the upper side. He's linked everything together. He's made white commit to these stones, and although there is one eye, there is only one eye. So that pass essentially is the reason that black got such a terrible result here. So what's the territorial balance now? Living up there and having black pushed back so much, so let's see here. From black's perspective, the serious crimes are this move here, and then this move here. And then black takes gote again. I could see black, continuing on this way to limit what white gets, or just moving on to a big point. But taking gote here again, cheeky. What's the life status of this group here?
Looks okay.
It doesn't have an eye. It doesn't have
It's
secure
got at least
eye.
one eye, yeah. It's got one eye. So consequently, if black just separates along here, white's in trouble. There are different ways to attack it. Actually, just probably the cut, I guess. At this point, it's got a half eye. Here, and then you have to win the cove for the eye. Here, then here, and then here, and then you got one eye. So there's only one eye in that group. So I would just take up White's challenge here. Separate White, and see what he does.
I think I was going to do the one space jump.
This one? Yeah. You're gonna save the stone
Jump.
from here?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Out of the wedge.
Target. And then.
Here?
Yeah. Probably jumping on the off group.
Over here?
Yeah.
Is this resulting in any kind of a profit for White? You haven't particularly reduced anything over here. You have led Black into this area and left it so that you're not going to be getting a lot of additional territory in through here. And now that the game has taken this course, afterwards, Black is going to come back to here, and what will White do to this? Now, as a result of playing through here, he's lost, now he has no eyes at all in this group. So that he's endangered himself. Actually, having been so successful up here and up here, I would be inclined to ask what is the overall territory balance? I think it's relatively favorable for White. What if White just chooses to define this area, securing himself and controlling this at the same time? Isn't the overall territory balance in this game favorable for White?
Yeah, it was. I thought it was. That's actually I ended up doing later. What is that?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think if White just reinforces this group while controlling Black's territory here, White has already scored enough gains in this game to be ahead.
Yeah.
This is a three-stone game. A three-stone game is not a high handicap game. It's a tight game. You can't afford to get too conservative or back off too much. Where did I have it here? Here we are. See here, this pass here and this half pass here. That's half of it's a three-stone game, right? So you pass 3 times, it's an even game. You can't think so slackly. You can't get so conservative. You can lose a game by just being inefficient, just as easily as you can lose a game by losing a group. There is a time. All your tactical all your strategic decisions have to be based on the reality on the board. If you have more black stones than white stones, you have to have an aggressive position, an aggressive posture, even though you're playing against someone who's stronger tactically. It's a factor, but it's not the only factor. The factor that you have many stones and he has few stones is a far more important factor. You don't have to be tactically successful to be strategically successful. From Black's perspective, back through to here, at this point, if Black plays this way, White, is making this group alive. In some sense, he's being tactically successful. But by Black flowing into that center area, Black is being strategically successful, even though maybe he could have done better tactically. You do not help yourself by not resisting simply because your opponent is a tactically stronger player. If the circumstances on the board give you the advantage, you have to follow that up. If the circumstances on the board give him the advantage, then you have to give way. And in particular, there's a little bit of strategic inconsistency here in that black is saying, I'm going to kind of play this type move and I'm going to force you to answer it, Mr. Tactically better than I am. Now, that is really being very aggressive. I mean, there's all kinds of huge points on the board here. Let's just take my idea here. Painless, nice profits for black, substantial enhancement of this area. If he just wanted to say, okay, fine, I'm just going to plunk a stone down here and that's going to be territory. That wouldn't be that bad. This is a way of playing which is conservative. Not saying I'm going to sort of force you to answer. Anytime you try and force something, you're being very aggressive in some sense. So that from black's standpoint, in through here, he's kind of being very aggressive, but now in this area of his strength, he's just completely backing off. This strategic inconsistency led to the second pass in this game, which gave white the superior position. Whoa. Still power work.